After a while, he stopped turning on the lights when he got home at night. The darkness felt familiar, like an old blanket. He knew what sat there in the shadows, and where. In the sudden blackout, a woman down the hall hit all the speed dial contacts on her cell phone at once, awakening a dissonant surge of voices who trip the breaker of her thoughts. But the night, like a nightmare, has no bottom, no nadir. Sight gives way to blindness, sound gives way to deafness, until absence without limit arrives fashionably late, just to mock the calls of a hopeful search party. In the vacuous eternity, those versed in chaos's braille navigate the void between stars by feeling nothing. In the vacuous eternity, those versed in sense's warm logic huddle like children on lunar outposts, delicately singing the alphabet aloud in the vacuous eternity, where the records are blank, with no rings cut into black vinyl, and playing them never triggers a mass of shrieking harmonics. Time might transpose into a symphony, only silence, quietly accompanied by just the slightest static fuzz, popping and crackling occasionally to prove, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that this vacuum was made. This nothing is real. A real abyss has gravity, because some mind, somewhere, conceived its creation. And while noir rain pounds down on this dim house, with only a secret front door leading in, behind a warehouse, down a flight of unused stairs, awake in the kitchen, our radio plays static. Smoke billows across the TV's black image, and I am singing gentle songs. The kind you sing, burning out from amphetamines at dawn. After a power surge through the outlet where you've plugged yourself in, fries you in a slow burn for months, with low crackling, buzzing currents of electricity. As salvation comes to those who clamp jumper cables, linked to a car battery, onto fate's empty testicles, reenacting Ben Franklin's key kite and lightning experiment, forcing fate's utterance of the prayer that's hidden past reason, whose meaning changes if it isn't screamed out in agony, from fate's scorched, smoldering, and smoking corpse, keeping its head thrown back, jaw open, about to laugh, like the hell of a delayed sneeze, on a field beneath the invoked storm, commanding fear in the population, who, on holiday, observe traveling torturers seeking salvation from fate, whose flesh feels like dried-out timber, because convulsions induced by electrocution make a piss-poor rain dance, while travelers watch the fusion of thought-out will and primal nature, with love in their hearts, from a safe distance. You have a collect prayer from beneath the foundations. Will you accept its charges? Nothing. Your power is immense, and so, logic, your most faithful disciple, in a letter from him to our forgotten country, suggested I pray to you, a suggestion that I soberly accept. Because no idealist myself, I'll not suggest salvation. I know that your inventory doesn't match the promise of your cold call advertising. But grace, that I beg you to send to those perpetually dying in locked rooms, with no emergency services, on the speed dials of their disconnected phones. Vortices of paradox warp the images visible in the eyepieces of the telescopes that they've turned inwards. Many blurs of inherent nature battling learned thought, or perfect sanity resisting a slide into madness, reshape their identities into personified wounds, replacing their bodies with pain on a molecular level. You, unseen in the back, but still reeking through the crowd, please do not ingest. Suggest a cheap vaudeville show for healing a warped soul. A false imitation of an authentic desire's dream does nothing to displace the pressure of the imp crouched on your chest, grinning in your face, and only lets it sit more heavily on an empty chest cavity, with no limit to the volume of its void. Give them the tools to endure, and a telescopic lens powerful enough to view that victory.